Let me comment into the winds aloft thing and the tailwind. So I've been a pilot, a general aviation pilot, and you're rated to fly up to 15,000 feet as a general aviation without oxygen. And that's real important for a plane that flies fairly slow. Most planes fly under 200 mile an hour, and I should say most of them fly about 120 mile an hour, and all of them pretty much fly under 200 mile. Well, if you get a 100 mile an hour headwind, which is not unusual at winds aloft, that's going to be a real bad deal if you want to get across country. So you have to radio in or call in to flight service, the Federal Aviation Administration, and they give you what is called the winds aloft. And Paul, you mentioned this earlier. You have to determine what altitude you want to be at in order to catch the most favorable winds. Now, commercial airlines fly up to 30 and 40,000 feet, and the winds aloft are even stronger. They can be up that high, and so it becomes very important to them to choose the directions and the altitude that make it most favorable. And so I think that it's quite possible, and I think we're right in the beginning of some catching of the tailwinds. Let me cite a couple of things, and that'll kind of throw a little bit of fodder out here for us to talk about. But first of all, we all can see this Asbury revival, and we probably know of a few others that have been springing up, and I think those are indicators, just indicators that something's happening. Most of us have heard of Bob Jones's prophecy that said when the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl and win, that'll be an indication of revival breaking out, and the emergence of the apostolic chiefs, and whatever that means. And so that's cool. Now we have two wins among the chiefs, one in 2020 and one in 2023. So some have said, Joseph said it, when where is it? Joseph said it. When a thing is mentioned twice, remember the king dreamed a dream twice, then it means it shall shortly come to pass. And so there we have, two wins within 3 years, which was 50 years before that. Think of that. That's essentially what happened to Asbury. Asbury, 1970, I think, was the last revival at Asbury. So it's approximately 50 years, 53 years since its revival or breakout there. So something is turning the corner. Now I want to give throw one more thing into the pot here for us to talk about, if you care to. And I'm going to pull up if I can find it. Yes, this is James Gall, who posted a little overview of a prophetic word that Bob Jones gave back in 1983. And so you just read here at the top, says Bob Jones predicted 3 key signs would occur as indicators of when the billion-soul harvest, particularly the youth, would begin. And so James says, now I want to review those 3 signs. And so let's go down to where that is. And so right here, 3 signs the great harvest has begun. What did Bob say? Number 1, abortion would be perfected and be made available by a pill. Now, back then, think of this. This is 1983. Abortion was still relatively unacceptable. It wasn't popular, although it happened, but it wasn't popular, and it definitely wasn't something that was done popularly by a pill. But, as we know, big pharmaceuticals are pushing this new pill that can be mailed to you right through the mail without a doctor's prescription or visit. Number 2 sign, homosexual marriage would be legalized and openly promoted in the United States. Homosexuality back in 83 was pretty much still taboo. It was practiced among the very, very sketchy, fringe, free love people. But, basically it was not accepted. Well, not only is it accepted, but it's been legalized, and it's crazy, crazy stuff. Now here's kind of a strange one. Number 3. Workers in rice fields in Asia would be watching 24/7 worship and prayer on unplugged television sets on their wrist. I remember Bob saying these 3. I really do. I was there. And we all looked at each other like, that's kind of the Dick Tracy kind of thing. That people could watch something on your wrist. How possible? How could that be possible? Well, now if you've got a smartwatch connected to your smartphone, you could watch whatever you want to watch right there on your wrist. And that was not even possible except in a Dick Tracy cartoon back in those days. All 3 were way ahead of his time. Things that were really unthinkable and impossible, at least some of them impossible back in the day, and now they've come to pass. So, here's a perspective, and this is my last thing. Here's a perspective. Either we can focus on the terribleness of this. Think of Isaiah 60. Oh, this is just darkness deluxe. Not only is it darkness, but it's gross darkness. Oh no, horrible things are happening. And that can be our dinner. That can be our table that we feast from, and it will eat our lunch. Or we can say, wait a minute. This is that which was prophesied of by the prophets, and said those things would be indicators of outbreaks of revival. And so, which do we want to draw from this sequence of events? Negativity and depression and anxiety and discouragement? Or, yes, God, these things which were impossible have happened, which give them an even greater note of credibility for what they were signs of, and that is the emergence of revival. Now, call it whatever you want. I'm not sure revival is the best word for what we're experiencing. It may be for some people the appropriate word, revival, reviving something that you used to have. But I think in our circles, we're discovering something we've never had. Something that's fresh, something that's of the heavenly nature, that is brand new. And that gives me a great deal of excitement, because I do love revivals. I've been in almost, I think, all the revivals since probably the early 60s. And it's been my big delight of my heart to be a part of them. I've drank deeply of them. I've participated in them and carried them and implemented them, and I love them dearly. And they're still happening. But I think in addition to that, something brand new is emerging that we've never seen. Okay, just wanted to throw those things out there regarding catching the right winds, getting the tailwind, getting to the right altitudes, which I think maybe is the right frames of mind, and also then being encouraged by the signs as opposed to being discouraged by the signs. Here's an idea. Last night, Rick and Karen and I joined our friend Noel Alexander and his wife Mickey and another lady and our Thursday night prayer time. As you know, almost all prayer groups around the country pray based on the news cycles, the things that are in the news. They pray, oh no, we had another train derailment. Now we got 4 derailments in 2 weeks. Oh, we got to pray against those things. So almost all prayer meetings circle around the negativity that is spewed out over the earth. Last night was very different. And that's where I think we're all learning. We went to heaven first. We went into the mind of God. What are his dreams? First of all, we just got good and inebriated, good and marinated, just sloshing around in the thoughts, the sparks of God. And then we realized, hey, I'm a gate and a door. Psalm 24. I'm a gate. Open wide, you doors, and be lifted up, you gates. And so we began just agreeing with the dreams of Father. I'm telling you what, prayer just takes on an exciting level rather than being, oh, the devil is big and he's bad, and let me remind God how bad he is. Anyway, I think that's part of catching tailwind. Prayer, it just changing everything. So good.